Hey everyone, it's me, Blue Ender, and today we'll be talking about what weapons you should be getting in the gallery. The way I'll be doing this is a bit different though. I'll be naming 5 weapons from each category that you should be getting. For example, primaries, I will list 5. Same for the backup, melee, you get the drift. All in all, that will leave you with 25 weapons that you can be picking out of this gallery, and yeah, that's a lot of weapons. There will also be honorable mentions as well for weapons that I don't mention, but I will at the end of this segment, basically. So yeah, if the weapon that you think should be bought is not here, don't worry, there'll be an ending section with all the honorable mentions. So without any further ado, let's begin. So the first weapon you should probably get in this thing is the Sleipnir, and yeah, no shot reason why, because this is like the meta of the game right now. With this thing also having a secret attribute of target marking, which what happens when you fire it and basically hit someone, our target basically goes on them, which basically means you know exactly where they are and when they're gonna happen to be. Well, after you kill them, then you don't see it, but still, it's a really good weapon, and it honestly is really overpowered. Basically the first choice that you had to pick. Next weapon is also no-brainer, the Stormtrooper Exoskeleton. This thing is a beast. I honestly don't understand why this thing wouldn't be a first choice, but well, besides the Sleipnir, but still. This big boy literally has 50 rounds in the chamber. Basically, yeah, you're indestructible, kinda, when you use this thing. As long as you know one of the people who are spamming either Sakura or, you know, just the tryhards of the place, you're good, but let's just say, this thing is a huge menace. The slowdown is also extremely good, so yeah, get this thing while you can. Next up is the Golden Friend, and you would be surprised how good this thing really is. Like, it's actually a really good weapon. And even if this thing does look like the machine gun, don't let that stop you from getting this thing, because this thing is extremely good. Better than the machine gun. Although it's coming. But anyway, the Golden Friend at least has 30 rounds, which is actually a pretty good one. But honestly, you might only need like what, 10 of those rounds, because yeah, it probably would take out anybody in a radius. It's extremely good. When I first got the weapon, I was kind of skeptical, but that skepticism went out the window immediately after the first round. It's extremely good. Like, I was like, it's probably not gonna be that good. A round later, it's probably like one of the best weapons in the game. I swear. And the next one's an oddball, the Cloud Disperser, and you might be like, well, didn't the shotgun nerfing of 2021 prove this thing to be not good? Yeah, absolutely not. This thing is actually pretty good. What makes it good is the fact that it has 8 rounds, yes, and it has a fast fire rate and a fast reload speed, which means this thing could actually be in and out immediately. You can get kills pretty easily, even if it might be 2 or 3 shots, but hey, it's at least 2 or 3 shots better than having a 4 shot, and that's something. Now, for the 5th slot, I'm gonna be bundling 2 weapons together because they kind of act the same way, but really don't. One of them is the Viking, because let's just say, if you want to have a playstyle that has armor bonus, then yeah, you can have that playstyle. It's actually a really fun shotgun too. And coupled with the Viking, the Acid Shotgun, which is a really, actually pretty good weapon to use when you're trying to 3-cat. It has 4 pellets, and yeah, that's pretty good. It also has poison, which is the acid part. Both these weapons are definitely valuable in some way. One for bleeding, which is actually pretty good, and the other one for poison, which is also pretty good. But honestly, if I had to choose one, I would probably say the Viking. It has more durability and stuff, even if it does have a fixed delay when you do quick spam. But even if that's the case, it really doesn't stop, you know, the Acid Shotgun for also being a good second, because the Acid Shotgun is actually pretty good. Like I said before, it's also good for 3-cat if you're trying to go for that route. But yeah, overall, both are pretty good as a 6-pellet and a 4-pellet shotgun. So yeah, either one is for your disposal. They're both 1,000 coupons, so hurry up before they go on. Anyway, now that the primaries are done, let's do the backup section. And first for the backup section is the Pew Blaster. You may be asking, why would I want to get something called the Pew Blaster? Well, let's just say, yeah, there's actually a good reason why you want to get this thing. That's because of the attributes. Now, I want you to focus on the one on the left. Now, yeah, you may think, oh, what's that gonna do? Well, let me show you what this thing could actually do. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, basically that's the power of this thing that can be held. Let's just say really good. Now this isn't the meta anymore, but it is a really good backup if you really want it. The laser cycler. It has ricochet, which that's a good attribute on, if I'm gonna be honest. On a weapon that's a backup, that's really good. But yeah, people don't really use it anymore because there's a lot more better backups than this. But yeah, for its prime, it was actually really good. I have no idea if this got nerfed or not, but tell me in the comments if it did or not. Next one up is the sneaky pistol, which yeah, you wouldn't expect this one to be here, but yeah, it's here. The thing about the sneaky pistol isn't the how it fires and how it's all, you know, precise and stuff. The fact that it's a consistent 2-shot is really, really good. And the fact that it does gadget block and disables jumps is also like a complete like, what? Honestly, out of the Cold Frightener and, you know, the other one, the Ice Chaser, this one is, like, the best outcome for you to choose because, let's just say, this thing could become, like, one of, I think, the best, like, guns in the game if used right and you have good accuracy. Not like me, honestly. But in the hands of someone that is an aiming god, I could say, yeah, you can use this thing and you can rack up a lot of kills with it. But do mind, this thing has fixed delay, so that means it's kind of got to start up a little bit slow. But if you're okay with fixed delay weapons entirely, considering this one is not that bad of a fixed delay, then yeah, you can use it to your heart's content. Go wild. Now this one you never expected, the deadly stings. Now as well with these ones, they're also a consistent 2-shot. They have a target marking, which you know what that is from the sleep near, and poison. Now why am I recommending you this? Well, from what I've experienced from this thing, it's a consistent 2-shot for one, and it's really fun to use and pretty accurate too. Again, that's my experience. You can go on Pixel Echoes, any other, you know, Pixel YouTuber and see how their experiences with it. For me, it was fun. Even though I never uploaded a video of me using it, but we can skip that, right? In all seriousness, if this is the one you want to choose, then get it fun. Now this one, I'm actually unsure if this one's for coupons or not, but the pulling sucker gun. I know it comes back in the lottery, but back in the day, it came back in the lottery, it was in the gallery for 500. I'm unsure if it does nowadays because, you know, the gallery rework, but yeah, that's why I'm unsure. But besides the point, this thing has a polling towards target, which you might ask, what does that mean? It means this. Pretty far, ain't it, bud? So basically, this thing lets you just, you know, fly across the map. Not really. You have to hit something in its radius, and then, yeah, you'll be, flung to that side of the map like a freaking rag doll. It's a good way to get to places faster on other sides of the map, but, I'll say this, yeah, really, really good. Now that the backups are done, let's get to the melee section. Off the jump, I knew how to pick these first to be the ones that you guys should get, because these are really good. The Swords of Intelligence, besides looking cool as freak, are probably one of the most powerful melees in the actual game itself. For example, the melee has Super Punch and Electric Shock, which if you don't know, well, the Super Punch can allow it to do this. Pretty cool, am I right? Jokes aside, the whole thing with the swords is extremely good. They are extremely powerful, really worth to get 1,000 coupons and slam these things down for it. Things mean coupon, by the way, because I got my butt kicked with this a lot back in the day, so let's just say I kind of needed this thing ASAP when it wasn't available for 1,000 coupons. So also for me was no-brainer, the One Punch Gauntlet. It also recently got a buff as well, so that's why I'm technically putting it here, but it's also either way still good. Now you may think it might take 2 punches to, you know, unleash the area damage, but you'd be wrong, because all you need to do is hit once and... yeah, pretty strong. So you seen right, this thing actually takes 1. And I mean 1 hit for it, meaning Super Punch time. Get it? Because it's called the One Punch Gauntlet. Okay, I'll shut my mouth now. Anyways, if you have the chance, get this weapon. It's really good. Now, I know everybody's surprised to see this thing on here. The Brave line? Doesn't this thing, like, take 4 shots to kill somebody? Is what you would say if you did not watch my balance change video. If so, go watch it. It's pretty good. But what if I were to tell you since the balance change video, this thing became a 4-shot to a 2-shot? Let me explain. Now, this thing got a 49 DPS increase, which you may think is not a lot until you realize what the base damage was for this thing back before it got, you know, buffed. Nowadays, it does a clean 100 damage, which technically the player always has 200, well, health exactly, because armor and health and whatever. But back in the day, this did less than like anything. It sucked. Now since it's godly, yeah, get this thing. Now, yeah, here's the thing. I don't own this, but this is on number 4 spot because, yeah, it's actually pretty good. So the Chip Whip is basically, you know, a good 65 mobility weapon with damage sphere and area damage. Seems pretty decent, right? Till you realize how much you can spam this thing. If you're wondering how I'm polygoning this right now, I clicked the ad for the polygon, but that doesn't matter right now. What does matter is why I'm telling you to get this weapon. Numero uno, this thing is like a gold mine for like the damage sphere. What I mean is the fact that the damage sphere is so big and in its radius, you can get kills while hitting this thing like smash, smash, smash. Meanwhile, the damage sphere will damage people around you easier than like a freaking virus. And now we're on to the most unexpected melee that I would think that I would tell you to get, the Demon Sword. I'm gonna read tell from some of your screens, you're like, Blue Ender, why? Why should we get the Demon Sword when it is very, very slow? My response? Yeah, proves my point. Now the melee section is done. Now let's get into the specials. Halfway done, people. First off the bat for the special section is the vertical grip device. Now this one's also no-brainer. I'm not sure if this thing is actually worth coupons. I'm not sure nowadays, considering the gallery we work. But if it is, tell me in the comments. Let me just say this thing is a basically better version of the pulling sucker gun. You can see it on the screen. 3 shots and you can go like that, like midair, wee-ha, or whatever. You can also hit people with this, but you would be going at light speed, so I think you wouldn't be trying to hit someone with this thing going this speed. Next up, what I probably should put first, the Sun Eater. Now, let me just say this. This weapon is like this weapon, the extraction ray pistol, you know, without the gravitational force. The charge time for this weapon is like God's speed. Literally, it's like the best kind of like, I guess, stream beam weapon out of all the specials. Well, the Ronin exists, but you know, the Ronin takes less time, and honestly, this is a bit better than it anyway. Now comes the next weapon, the Ancient Scroll. Now let me explain. Let's just say this thing is actually pretty good when it comes to killing people. The Ancient Scroll has a laser, gadget block, and damage while reloading. But while we're on the damage while reloading topic, just watch this clip because I gotta explain something about this thing and the damage reload. Did you catch that? The reload damage is, let's just say, maybe a bit late than it should be. And this actually applies to most weapons in the game that have a damage reload. It is not timed, so please, Pixelgun, fix that, but it's still good. Next up is the Block Flamethrower. Now, you may think, an old weapon like this? Why is this here? Well, let me explain. Unlike other flamethrowers, this one is, let's just say a bit better than the others. You see, the whole block thing got buffed. Meaning, the block shotgun, the block rifle, this also got a buff. And even if the block shotgun did get a DPS buff, this one did as well. And when I tried it in the lobby, whoo, was it a really, really good weapon. Honestly, probably one of my picks if I were to get it in a free-to-play account, but yeah. If you guys want to get it, then it's your choice. And finally, 3 picks for the top 5 slot. That would be the Toxic Bane, because it has a pretty good slot with mines and stuff. Honestly, it's become a good weapon over the few months, so yeah, I'm picking this one. Number 2 slot goes to the Necklace of the Ice King, because it's pretty much like the last weapon that I have to show, but you have area damage, and you don't really need that good of an accuracy, but you kind of do. So yeah, I'd rather you would pick this, or... And finally, for the top spot of the 3, the Poison Darts, which could actually help you with your accuracy a bit if you're trying to 3-cat, and is honestly probably a really good weapon for taking out enemies with 2 shots. No matter which one you choose from the Toxic Bane's mine stability, considering, you know, it has poison with it, well, duh, has toxic in the name. The Poison Darts Perfection style is where you have to aim perfectly, and you can get better aiming with the weapon in general, with other weapons, and you know, cap spamming. Or the Ice King, you know, because of its area damage and how easy it is to hit people with it. Also with the capable of cap spamming, basically. All 3 are still really, really good weapons. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to the sniper category. First up in the sniper category, honestly, it's the obvious choice, is the Demon Catcher. Not for 1 but 2 reasons. Well, because of gameplay and because of clans. But we're not focused on clans, we're focused on gameplay, and this thing has super punch and more damage for the curse. This is one hell of a beefy sniper, because seriously, this thing could 1-shot or 2-shot, but I believe hit someone first, hit the other guy, it's gonna be a 1-shot with that super punch, I tell you that. Now, the Conductor of Souls. I believe that this one is 1,000 coupons still, even though it's the rework, but If it isn't, I do have a second ulterior weapon, and that is the Overseer, which has actually gone up in popularity recently. This sniper has a captivity of 10, meaning there are going to be 10 bullets flying to your head if there's a head aiming god out there. Mind you, this thing also has X-ray vision, basically meaning they can see you through walls or can see you through anywhere, basically. But that's only if the Conductor of Souls, if it isn't 1,000 coupons still. If it is, then get the Conductor of Souls. It's a really good weapon, and it honestly could be a one-shot if it is to be. Proud Eagle is actually a pretty good sniper, and honestly, I doubted it, but it just proved me wrong every single way. Now, the Proud Eagle is also target marking, which means if you scope in, you get it, but let's just say the target marking is huge. The radius for the scope to get the target marking is big. And yeah, let's just say it has a good fire rate, and 8 bullets is good enough for me for it to use. Now this is a long shot, but the plastic carbine is actually a pretty decent sniper. It also has area damage, which is a really good attribute. And the fire rate, I'm pretty sure I didn't mention the fire rate, but it's really good. It's actually pretty fast too. And what the fire rate means, it's probably gonna do like 2 hits of the area damage, but at least it's 2 hits better than 3. Mind you, somehow this thing also has a scope, but I don't see a scope there. Maybe I have no idea where the scope is, but you can see the fire rate. It's really good. It's pretty fast, and I think the reload's pretty decent too. Now this one you should be getting like as soon as possible, the laser carbine. Let me just say, this thing is one shot. Oh, you heard me right. This thing is a consistent one shot. At least at the minimum 2 shots to the body, but anywhere else, it's a one-shot kill. I wouldn't say, yeah, get this thing immediately. Yeah, I would, basically, get this thing immediately, now. And now it's finally time for the heavy section. Let's do this. The first one's an obvious choice, the Christmas Ultimatum. Now it's most well known why you should also get this thing. The cluster bomb is big, and it's very, 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 very powerful. Of course you could rocket jump with this thing, but observe the radius. Big damage. In the words of Phil Swift, that's a lot of damage. Feast your eyes on the second Christmas Ultimatum, but without the cluster bomb, the Deadly Beat. If you're looking for a quick and easy, oh, this will kill someone in one shot, this is your man. No, I'm not going to be like, you're going to say, Blue Ender. That's me. Why would you want to get an epic weapon? Because that's the grade of this thing, you know, when it's not mythical. Well, even from an epic level at a low level, this thing is still a bomb. This is one you never expected. Yeah, the Instigator. Let's just say, it's a really good weapon. I'll be honest, it's like the Toxic Bane, but honestly a bit better than I thought it was. Back then, it used to really suck, but I also remember this thing got a buff, I think? But either way, that was like a while ago, and even still, it's really, really good. Next up, the Cerberus. This also has cluster bomb, but also has a fire effect, meaning it could last a long time. The Cerberus also has decent damage, not a lot, but it will last with the fire effect. But it equals at least with a 2-shot at the most. Either way, it's a really good utility to use. And finally, the pick of the finale of the heavies, the Destruction System. This heavy has a big area damage. Now it might not look like it, but it honestly is a great utility. You can rocket jump with this thing, by the way, but you will get damaged a lot, so mind that. We've officially chosen the top 30 weapons that you should be choosing in the gallery. Now it's time for the honorable mentions. We'll go by order from primary to heavy, and there might be more than like 1 or 2 or 3. First up is the Primaries. Well, it's one for the plastic rifle. It has good damage and very good area damage, making it easy kills. Next up is the Thunder, because it's a really good cat spam weapon. And the Rivet Gun, because I just want people to use this more. It's good. Next one is obviously one I should have probably put on the list, but the Heroic Epic. And the Jet Tenderizer, because that's actual playstyle is fun. Next is the Plague Purifier, because it actually is a pretty good flamethrower, believe it or not. Now it's time for the Snipers, which has only 3. The Anti-Champion, because duh. Next up is the Soccer, because also duh, even though it got nerfed. And Revolver Sniper, because also somewhat duh, but also because even though it got nerfed as well, it's still pretty good. And now the heavies. First, the Demolition Exoskeleton, because it's really good with the rocket jumping, and honestly, it's 6 shots. That's good. Next is the Proton Freezer, because even if legendary, it's a really good utility weapon, and pretty good. And finally, the Soda Pop, because this thing is actually a one-shot. Literally, I'm serious, try it out. That does it for this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, even though we're actually now almost there to 100 subscribers. So yeah, please and thank you. Goodbye.